And we're back again, Bruce, for week 3. Boy, it's been really exciting so far.
Well, we've had 2 good weeks of bowling, and by the looks of the lineup today, I'd say we're going to have some more good bowling. We got fellas like Tony White, Brian DEON, and Randy Scovill, who have been around for a long while, and a relatively newcomer, Kevin FITZGERALD, who I've never really seen bowl. Only been bowling for about 4 years, and he's in this group. So he qualified with a good match, and I'm looking forward to another good week.
Oh, it's been fantastic. Again, you know, this year we've been coming right down to the last alleys and looking, wondering who's going to advance. So, and the scores have been really nice. You know, they've been good scores. So, I guess without any more hesitation, any more delays, we're going to bring the third week to you right now. And the first bowler up on our third week is Tony White. Tony White lives here in Yarmouth. He's 32 years old. He's a salesman at Rogers Furniture. Tony's been bowling for 18 years. He currently has a 128 average this year. And he bowls in the Wednesday Night Pro League. Tony has a career high single of 199. And a career high triple of 470. He's had 4 400s this year so far, Bruce.
So far, yeah.
Yep.
And he starts off with a 9. Tony's been, I forget how many years you said he's been bowling now, 18, I guess.
18, yeah.
But the last few years, Tony has been able to go away with provincial teams, guys from Metro, Cape Breton. He's been over to New Brunswick, or Maine, I should say, bowling with a provincial team, and there's a strike for Tony. He's been bowling in high competition. So Tony is one of the better bowlers of this area at this present time.
Yeah, I went over a couple years ago and watched him bowl in those Worlds, and that's an awesome tournament.
Yeah.
Our next bowler, Brian DEON, lives here in Yarmouth. He's age 40. He also works for Rogers Furniture. Brian's been bowling for 30 years. He bowls presently in 2 leagues. His current average is 121. He has a career high single of 197. He has a career high triple of 478.
I might add, while you're on that 478, Cliff, that is the high for the Yarmouth. The whole town, the area of Yarmouth. It's on the board over here to our right. And the 478 is the highest triple that's ever been bowled here in Yarmouth. And it's Brian DEON who has it.
That's an amazing score for 3 games.
And he just started off with a spare with 7 on it.
Brian qualified for this tournament over 3 games with a 357.
Ooh, nice try, nice try. He split that real nice and just went by the pin that's standing there. And a 10. Brian bowls a real hard ball. In fact, we're going to see, I'm not sure Kevin yet, but I know the first 3 bowlers we have here throw good hard balls.
Right. Our next bowler coming up is Randy Scovill. For those people that watched last year's tournament, remember that Randy was runner-up in the tournament. He lives in Tuscot. He's 40 years old. He's a fisherman by trade. He's been bowling for 24 years. Randy has a current average this year of 121. He has a career high single of 200, and I believe, Bruce, that's again the highest single that's ever been bowled in this area.
That's right.
And one of the highest, I think, in the Maritimes.
I'm not sure what the high single game is now, but I know Randy bowled at 200. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. Very nice. Very nice.
And you can see why he bowls when he pulls shots like that.
Randy bowls a hard ball, a bit of an in-shoot. Very accurate bowler, very accurate and deliberate. You know, he knows his game. He's just one heck of a good bowler.
His career high triple has been 476. Again, that's only 2 below what Brian had bowled. and Brian was 1 pin below Randy's high single. So the matchup here today is just unbelievable.
Got 5 on his spare. Got to get on that head pin. Did, and took another one out and back. So
over 3 games, Randy qualified for this tournament with a 343 triple.
That's 2 pins below his average. Nice 10.
Yes.
But as long as you're qualified, it didn't matter what you bowled. Save
right.
them for the tournament, huh?
What we did was all the qualifiers that came in, we took the top 24 bowlers, and that's how they determined who was going to bowl in this tournament. The matchup for each week is by luck of the draw. All the names were put in hats, and each name is drawn out to determine which week you will bowl and who you bowl with.
This is our probably one of the newer bowlers that will be in this tournament is Kevin FITZGERALD. He bowls in a couple of leagues, and he's in against 3 well-seasoned bowlers. So
certainly is.
Kev's going to have his hands full.
Kevin lives here in Yarmouth. He's 30 years old. He's a dockside observer as an occupation. He's been bowling for 4 years. He bowls in a couple leagues here at Brunswick Lanes. He currently has an average of 107. He has a career high single of 156. And I think that changed because I think a couple weeks ago he had bowled a 160.
Oh, yeah.
And his career high triple is 368. He qualified for this tournament over 3 games with a 343.
Well, we're away to another good week of bowling, and all 4 of them are going to show us some of that good bowling.
I'm sure they are before this day is over.
It's worked into a pretty good shot there. The 2 together are split. One of them's off the spot, but if he gets on that front pin, the deadwood should roll right over to the left-hand corner for him. And he's right there. Oh, man.
Oh.
2 pieces of wood came together.
Went on both sides of it, never touched it.
Yeah, the pin that's on the plate and the one that's in the gutter kind of touched and took away whatever chance he had of getting them. But he hit it real well. So he takes a 9 for 17.
In his career, Kevin has never had a 400. In Tony's career, he's had 4 this year, and land knows how many he's had over his career, so I know that there's been many of them.
Tony's bowling on a strike now. Has a good 8-pin drop. And splits them for a spare. That gives Tony 29 on 2 and a spare on the 3rd to work on. Very determined bowler this year. Not that he never was not always that, but he was very disappointed last year that he didn't bowl better. And he's determined that he's going to show us some real good bowling this year. So 7 on his spare, which gives him 46 on 3.
Yeah, he had a little bad luck there last year in the first round, and just never got a chance to show some good bowling.
And a 10, which gives Tony 56 on 4.
So after 4, Tony is 56, Brian is 27 after 2, Randy is 25 after 2, and Kevin is 17 after 2. So this is sure shaping up to be a great match here today.
Just warming up.
Yep, just getting loose a little bit, getting used to the lights and the cameras.
Hey, Brian DEON, who's bowling now, is a hard bowler, rolls with a lot of spin and a good hook, and gets a lot of action on his ball. He throws so hard, the pins fly around, and has a real, as I said, a lot of action.
He's another one of these bowlers that remind me of
Nice 10.
of the old, when I was a young fella watching. I remember Gordon Titus always amazed me with his delivery. The arm would come right back up straight over top of his head, and Brian is the same style of a bowler. That arm comes back full extension, high up, and really rifles it through.
A big backswing and quite high, as you said. Yeah.
Again, Brian is one of these bowlers that goes away in a lot of these tournaments and all over the province.
And does well.
Yes, very well. Brian's family here today cheering him on, and it's always nice to see.
And Brian is 46 after 4. I think maybe our fans, well, if they have to notice that all our bowlers are wearing Subway shirts out there. Compliments of Subway, that they supplied shirts for our bowlers, which is nice.
And then our other co-sponsor, the Red Knight Enterprises, is also behind this.
Yeah.
And back for the second year, I might add, as well. The Red Knight. It's really nice to have that kind of support from the local businesses.
Well, it's nice that they appreciated what the show was all about, and that there was fan enjoyment, and people were really enjoying this and watching it. And the fact that they thought enough of it to come back again is good.
Yes, it certainly is, and we encourage the viewers out there, if you happen to be in the area, drop in and visit these establishments. You know, enjoy some of their fine food, and talk to them, mention to them that they have watched and enjoyed the bowling here at Brunswick Lanes.
So Randy has finished his third. This is the first game, by the way, of week 3. Randy's 34 on 3. If our voices tend to fade away once in a while, it's because we're very, very close to the bowlers, and we've been told that they can hear us from time to time, so we're trying to keep our voices down so we won't interfere with their concentration and while they're bowling up there. But Randy's chopped to the middle 2 boxes in a row now, left 3 and 3. So it's just a matter of pinning, trying to get them all. And comes up with another 9, which gives him 43.
So again, you only have 13 pins separating these first 3 bowlers here today, and I'm sure that Kevin will get on track and come through and make a real good, strong effort before this game is over. He certainly has the capability of doing it. He's proved that by being a qualifier in this championship.
That's right.
That's right.
On that shot. Didn't do much for him, but he was right in on that head pin.
As a relative newcomer, he has to be a little bit intimidated bowling with
well, yeah, if he went over and looked at the average board, I would think so. Nice 10.
Oh, nice 10. That Deadwood coming back real nice for him there. Not only that, the fact that he's the only one up there, he knows everybody's sitting watching every move. It sure makes a lot of pressure for a bowler.
There it goes.
Beautiful strike.
There he goes.
Beautiful strike.
Just the right number of bounces. So after 4, Tony White 56, Brian DEON 46, Randy Scovill 43, and Kevin FITZGERALD 37, and open with a strike. He kind of lost that one, but he came out with a decent break. The 1-2-4. He's hanging that ball out to the right now.
And dropping them.
Yeah.
There he goes. Back on it again.
So easy with that third ball.
Certainly is, isn't it? I was just going through some of my stats there and just a little while ago, and Randy is showing at least a minimum of 50 400 games over his career, which certainly is quite a feat.
That's a lot of pins.
It sure is.
Oh, Tony has the left-hand corner pin to pick first pair. Right on it. Very accurate bowler, Tony.
Yes.
Very accurate.
And again, I might mention to the people when they watch these bowlers and watch their approaches, it's so consistent. Every ball, every step is almost identical.
Well, you have to pick out a style and use it. And,
Big strike
for Brian. And that's the kind of ball Brian throws. It splashes in there, and pins go flying, crashing around. And,
see an explosion and everything is gone. Brian didn't want to give up his number 5 alley. He wanted to stay there. And another one.
see that one
And
coming.
another one.
You can see that one coming. Sometimes you can even feel it in your hand when you let a ball go. You know it's going to be a good ball for you. And I think he knew that one. So there's a bonus double strike. Randy, 43 on 4.
And in our third week, I think we've only given out 4 bonus payments so far. So I've got a kind of feeling that today just might break that trend. The caliber is there, certainly.
Well, there aren't, looking at the lineups for the next 3 weeks, there aren't too many weeks that there isn't a lot of good bowling there with potential to pick up bonus money and so on.
Randy was our top money winner last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Randy took home a lot of money. And only missed winning the trophy by, I think, 3 pins.
Yes, yep, it came right down. I think we actually had a roll-off at that time. And it went into, what, 2 or 3 alleys prior to the...
For some money, I think.
Yeah, to
determine... I think first place was determined by the pinfall, but I think we went into extra alleys for money,
because...
the carryovers.
The carryover, I think, went to the 3rd alley, if I'm not mistaken now.
Ooh. That was a pretty nice ball. The results weren't too nice.
The break doesn't look as well, does it?
It's not that bad when you look at that. He's got that flat deadwood out front and the 5-pin, and I would think he'd want to be right on the right-hand edge of this flat deadwood, that the ball would take the triangle in the middle and the wood would take the other 2, and he's
right where he went.
Right there.
Just what he was after.
Yeah. And this is what makes you go real good, that you know what you want, and then you can put it there. And putting it there is, that's the name of the game, but you gotta have the stuff. Here's Kevin, he's open on a strike now, he's 37 and open.
I guess if there had to be an easy part, the easy part is knowing where to put it. The hard part is to put it there.
Yep. And he's right back in there. Could have had a double as easy as not.
Real close to that double.
And he's got a single pin with a deadwood just in front of it, so he's got to stay to the right of the red on that flat deadwood. Right on the pin. No doubt about that. Right on the pin. So Kevin's got 2 marks in a row. and makes him 47.
And that puts him right back in the hunt here,
Yeah,
Bruce.
in fact, after 4 alleys, he's in second place.
Yeah.
Right in there again.
Oh, another big 9-pin break.
He could have had a triple strike, just
That's
as he's
right.
not, you know,
Yep.
a strike and 2 9-pin breaks. So he is now 66 on 5, and
He's
well,
tied for first place with Tony after 5. That
he
Deadwood.
could. Well, he's got an open shot. He doesn't have to play that Deadwood. I think his shot is open. I looked on the monitor for a minute, and then I had an angle here, but whoops. Well, okay.
He got it.
Stayed high on it, and he was okay.
And that gives him a little bonus money as well.
Yep. So all 4 men are open with marks on the 6th alley. Tony's got a spare working for him right now.
And a strike.
and that's typical of Tony, in my opinion. It's typical of Tony's bowling. The extra action. I mean, there's 2 pins standing there. All of a sudden, something takes him. A piece of wood moves or whatever, and he gets that extra. And that, along with his skill, really helps him a lot. And there's a lot of talent out there. Whoops! Don't turn away too fast, Tony. So, well, I suppose he could go way to the left, push that flat Deadwood across, slide it across. Yeah.
Looks like
Let's try.
It's what he tried for.
A little bit thinner. He'd have probably had that one, but it was a good shot. 9 on the strike for 105 on 7 and 9 on the alley. So Tony is 114 on 8. So he's away to a good start. He's got 4 marks there. Now Brian DEON is rolling on his double strike.
And another mark will give him a little more bonus money to go add on to that first.
Yeah, his first strike is worth 20 plus this first ball. 20, well, we'll call it 27. That's 673 on 5. Now the second strike is worth 10 plus what he ends up with total on these 2 balls.
Right.
He's kind of watching that Deadwood. It's moving there, but I'm not sure it move. Well, he might want to try it. Or he might want to take a short 9 on the strike. That the bowler has to make up his mind before he throws the ball. He wants to know exactly what he's going to do. Don't be halfway between. He's going after it. Nice shot.
And he got
nice
it.
spare.
Excellent. And
nice
that gives him 3 marks in a row, so that adds another bonus one for him.
And that gives Brian, makes him 103 and open on the 7th.
And when I refer to bonus, I want to remind the viewers I'm talking about bonus money that they get for double strikes or 3 in a row.
Oh, baby. Oh, now he's got 4 in a row.
And he's really marking him up there right now. His potential is rising all the time. He's 123 open in the 8th.
Yeah, so that's 43 over par.
That's a.
He's shooting at 150 plus.
Yes, very much so.
As of right now, our high single in the first 2 weeks was 145. So
yes.
Brian could put that behind him very quickly.
Yeah.
Randy had 5 on his mark. Gives him 67 on 6. Get some O's and A's from the fans. They're not used to seeing Randy do that.
No, that's true.
And a good 10. You never know.
And all it is just a matter of a few marks to put you right back into that position of being in the #1 spot.
Randy cutting through the middle quite a bit. That's about 3 times so far that I can remember that he's gone through the middle. The ball just breaking a little bit too much on him. Now he's got to go over and either split the 2 or play the 2 on the left of the front one. Whoop.
And that's what he tried to do,
I think he was going for the split.
Yeah,
It looks, yeah.
And he was trying to send that over onto that deadwood and that triple.
And a 9 for 86 on 8. Here's Kevin Fitzgerald. He's already won some bonus money for 3 marks in a row. He's had a strike, spare, spare. Could have had a triple just as easy as not. And he's open on the 6. 16 over par. He's right back on that head pin again.
Yes, he certainly is finding his mark there right now.
And he's 83 on 6 now, and he's got, well, he's got a, I'm going to look at the monitor on this one because it's easier to get an angle on it. He probably wants to go on the left-hand tip of that middle deadwood, that the ball would go over and take the 2, and the dead would go right back. Get over too far on it, so we'll never know. Picks up his 10. So he's 93 on 7.
And it doesn't put him that far out of reach of Tony right now.
And we're still only in game 1. So
that's right.
Hey,
so a lot of bowling to come.
Still 12 more alleys left after.
Before our winners will be determined again, back in that pocket again.
He hasn't got a very good angle on that wood, but where's that other one going on? The other one's gone. So he's got to probably slide, get it on that deadwood, slide it off down to the 3 and maybe off to the side. No, he was halfway between 2 possible shots. One was to hit the wood and slide it down, or maybe get by it and split the 3. And if he had split the 3, I think the deadwood would have come forward instead of going back. He might not have got it that way. So he takes an 8 for 101. So after 8, Tony White 114, Brian DEON 123 and open with a strike, Randy Scovill 86, and Kevin Fitzgerald with 101.
At present, Randy is in 4th place. So I'm sure Randy is really thinking about what he's got to do to get himself back into contention for this game.
Okay, Tony's got to go down on the deadwood on the right. The other wood's no good to him because he's behind. So he's got to make something happen off the wall, I think. Well, the wood's going over there. Okay, he kind of looks like he may have been trying to flip the 5-pin over, which you can do. You can flip that middle pin over to the corner pin. And looks like he might have been trying to do that. So he takes his 10 for 124 and 1 box to go. Ooh, it'd have been better if that had stayed up.
It would have made it much easier for him to try and play it across, that's for sure.
He'd have had a better angle with a split in 3, but now you'll probably go down and make the wood move. And I got that on the nose. I don't think he really wanted it on the nose. I think he probably would like to have had it go to the left and maybe come off the wall and slide across. And a good 10 for 134. He only had 4 marks. They were strike spare and then later on spare strike, but he only dropped 2 pins the whole game too. So that's a well bowled game. That's good, better than the 8 average on his marks. And then, as I said, only had 2 9s. All the rest were marks or 10s. Here's Brian on a strike. Right back in that thing again.
And another strike.
And that's his 2nd double strike of the game, and gives him 5 marks in a row. So he's gone strike, strike, spare, strike, strike. So he's putting on one of the best exhibitions we've seen in the tournament yet.
Actually, I think, Bruce, this is the most marks we've seen in a row since we started this.
We never had 5 last year.
That's right. So
well,
This is the first time.
There he is again.
And he's back into it again. Oh!
You don't come any closer to triple strikes than that. So 29, that's 142. He's going over 160.
And that also gives Brian 3 bonus prizes as well.
And he's...
Oh, missed it.
He's got 170 right now. One nice game. Real nice bowling. And he takes his 10 for
171
171.
Game.
Nice single. Really nice single. He started off that game with a spare at 7, then he went 2 10s and a 9, and then he went double strike spare, double strike 10. So
just an excellent exhibition of bowling.
He dropped 1 pin, and of course double strikes count like crazy.
Yeah, you certainly add up a lot of pins.
So 171. Here's Randy. He's struggling a bit, but he's got himself a break there. 7-pin drop, the 128. A wood in behind there at an angle, but it shouldn't bother him, I don't think. If he can get in the pocket, especially, or even if he drove the head pin back, I think he'd be all right.
I haven't figured out how he left that head pin there.
He just went past it.
But to hit the dead wood and take that 2-pin out,
yeah,
surprised me.
So Randy's 95 on 9. He'd like to go with a big as mark as possible here.
And getting some encouragement shouted to him from the gallery. And
these 2 guys on the bottom, Randy and Kevin, are looking up at those 2 first bowlers, and they're saying, "Holy mackerel!" You know,
yeah.
134 and 171.
What am I going to do?
How do you catch them?
Yeah.
There he goes, working. Well,
it's amazing what that dead wood will do for you when it gets rolling around.
I think all that is just 1 less pin.
Yeah. Didn't help the situation any.
Not really.
Certainly would have if it had taken that number 10 pin.
He might be able to play this one here on the right hand end and hope it would swing across.
Come across, yeah.
Okay, he got down on the other end of it. As I said a couple of weeks ago, woods are played a little bit different now with the side kicks. Different. So Randy ends up with 104, which we all know he can do better than that, and look out for the next game from Randy. Kevin FITZGERALD's 101 on 8, so he's hanging tough.
A couple marks will put him right up there next to Tony to give him a shot at that 2nd spot right now.
Throw that ball right in the pocket.
Boy.
He's throwing that ball right in there. He's got the 8-pin with a good wood, so he just has to lay that thing on the red there, and he's all set. In fact, he's got pretty near the whole length of the pin.
Almost anywhere that.
Pretty well, yeah.
As long as he hits it. There it is. And a spare for Kevin, which puts him 111 and open in the 9th.
And he's had 4 marks already. He's a very deliberate bowler. He stands there and gathers his thoughts and works on what he wants to do.
And he punches that out for 2. 113 after 9. Yes, his concentration seems really, really strong.
That's the right idea. That's a good spot on the outside of that. After you punch 2, stay on the outside of that head pin. I think you get as much or more hitting out there than you do going back in the other pocket. It depends on what kind of ball you got, but you can do well out there. You get some action out there too. So we come out of that with a 9, 122. So after game 1 in our week 3, it was Brian DEON with 171, Tony White 134, Kevin FITZGERALD 122, and Randy Scovill 104. So
some really good caliber bowling there, yeah. Bruce. Now we're getting into the 2nd game. The pressure's going to start adding. And Tony starts off with a beautiful 9-pin break.
Piece of wood climbed up over the top of the one that's there and just rolled in behind it, or Could have
Could have been a strike.
Strike, yeah. And he pins for a spare. We're halfway through our third week, and every week we've had something big, you know, to really keep you interested into this one. So let's get that extra pin. No, so he only gets 9 on it.
But another big 9-pin break.
Another 9-pin break for Tony, yeah. And he's usually real sharp on those. When he's on his game,
he doesn't leave too many single pins.
Too many of those. Well, he starts off with a couple of spares. And here's Mr. Big, 171. And it's worth repeating. 5 marks in a row, went double strike, spare, double strike.
So out of the 10 alleys the last game, he had 6 of them that were marks, and that's that's quite a thing.
So he averaged about 12 a mark.
Yeah.
Oh, short pin.
What a...
That'd have been a 16-inch pin instead of 15 3/4 inches. He'd have had a spare.
That was an excellent try on Brian's part. He's another bowler that if it's a possible shot, he very seldom misses them.
Especially if there's wood on the alleys.
Oh.
I mean, if he can pound that thing in there, you know, the ball.
Because of
then
the
stuff
speed.
will work. Yeah.
Because of the speed of the ball and everything, he gets such tremendous action off of that ball.
I always wish I could throw that hard.
I could probably throw that hard, but I'd probably end up about 3 alleys over.
I don't know where it'd be going. You can hear that one hit down.
Yeah.
He dropped it before he wanted to, before his actual release time, and but there's still a potential spare there. The head pin's there, and the 5-pin right behind it, and the little triangle down the left-hand corner with wood. If he gets on that head pin, well, it's the only one he left.
Yeah. I think he was kind of hoping that the deadwood might carry back onto that or something, but...
Well, I guess you can always hope.
Yeah.
And a 10-19 for Brian. Oh, Randy's got his work cut out for him. He's got to pass everybody. There we go.
There we go.
Good start. And look out what these fellas start.
They find that groove and they just seem to lock onto it like a radar.
Yeah, they go a little slow for a while, and then look out there. They're bound to come back, and some of them come back real big.
Back in there again.
Oh, it needs a pin. Well, there's a good possibility there.
It's down on that left-hand end, would you say?
Well, I'm trying to look on the monitor too at a better angle.
Or would you go to the right-hand
If he goes
tip?
way down left, it might push that one in behind a pin.
Yeah,
you might want to go over to the right here too and have a piece of the pin and the deadwood. He's going right in the middle.
Oh.
Whoops. So 9 on his strike gives him 19. Again, the pin was a little short.
I guess sometimes I have a tendency to look at it a little different way because of being a left-handed bowler.
It makes a difference. Well, Randy has 29 on 2. Oh yeah, a left-hander is going to play it left. You got to put it in the same spot maybe, but you as a left-hander are rolling from the other side and your ball's working the other way. As say from my right-hand bowling, ball's going to the left, and it makes a difference. But again, you got to put the ball where the shot will be made.
Determine which way the pins will carry through after it's hit.
Yeah.
Not in this caliber of bowling, though.
Who is? That's why I'm sitting here.
Always enjoy the game. Very concentrated on Kevin's part. And he went for them all.
I think he went for a 10, yeah. And that's debatable whether you go for 10. That's a tough shot. Take your 9 maybe. Go after the short 2 and take your 9. If you miss your head pin, which you've just done it twice, then you got a 7.
That's right.
So it's up to the individual bowler what you decide what you want to do. Do I want to go for them all? Am I that sharp? Or will I take a 9?
Back in that pocket.
And come back next lane.
Yeah. Yep. If you're right on, then maybe that's the way to go. Take those 2 extra pins and hope for the big bomb on the next alley.
And again, the situation dictates it too. If you're at the anchor or near the end of a game and you need 3 pins,
there we go.
Then you go after the 3 pins. If you are ahead by a little bit, take the short 2. So it depends on what your situation is also. Tony got away to a good start in the second game with a double spare.
Excellent start. And he's right back in there again.
Another 9?
Another 9-pin break.
Get 10 of those, you'd have 190, wouldn't you? Well, he's 38 on 2. He's got 1, 2, 3 pieces of wood down there.
And drove it straight through.
And he's into bonus money.
Tony takes a bonus money for having 3 marks in a row. I've taken to marking them down this week. Last week I missed one, but the bowler didn't let me forget it.
I bet he did. Well, he could have had a lot more the way they were moving. So he got 6 on that one, which gives him 54 on 3.
And another setup for another spare, possibly.
Right there.
And it's it.
And that's 4 in a row for Tony. DEON.
Oh, rough. Rough.
This happens to Brian occasionally when he's getting in on that head pin. And then all of a sudden he'll start leaving some bad breaks. But then a lot of times he comes out of them too with that explosive ball. There he is right there, you know. So, okay, he's got 1 pin moving and deadwood up against the other one. So he wasn't that far away from picking that tough spare up.
That's right. And right now, so far this game, Brian's the only one that doesn't have a mark on the board.
And takes a 9 for 28. Of course, he's got a pretty good cushion going for him too from the first game, 171.
Yes, that
you don't want to let up.
Takes that pressure off a little bit.
I'm sure he's not letting up. Just going through a little phase here, like, well, what was it last week or 2 weeks ago that Johnny Watkins did the same thing. He went 9 alleys without a mark, and then bang, 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 had 3 and got himself in.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, if you're that close and you're the caliber of bowler that these guys are, that's what it takes to get you there. Want to remind the people that this tournament is being brought to them on Cable 5 by the Red Knight Enterprises and Subway out on Stars Road. It's being bowled here at the Brunswick Lanes, being hosted by Brunswick Lanes, and everything is done here by what's being brought to you is from Cable 5. Also, can't forget the people that are feeding us this week, Bruce. Subway supplying us with our meals for all the crew that have volunteered to be here and working, and excellent food, and want to thank them very much for their contribution to this.
Very good lunch. This is Randy Scovill. He is the 129. Slides by the head pin for a 9. It gives Randy 38 on 3. I think a fella gets up there and he's bowling and he's not having the kind of day he really wants. You feel it, you know it, and you're working harder at it. And things just aren't going right for you. If you get a good hit, you don't get the break. You get a good hit there, he's got a bad break, and then you might miss one, and just things seem to pile up, and they make for a bad day.
And coming into this second game, Randy was 30 pins down on second place, Tony, and Tony opened up this game with 4 spares in a row, so that even adds that much more pressure to him.
And another 9, which is 47 on 4 for Randy. Kind of shook his head on the last one. He got on that front pin and it just flew out. Didn't even take the 2 that were together.
Yeah.
If it taken the 2, the wood behind it might have moved. You know, it's just those kind of things that either make or break you.
That's right. Has to be very discouraging too, you know. When
you know you could do better than
yeah,
you're doing at the time. That's the
right.
thing. And,
yeah.
Bugs you.
Exactly.
Here's Kevin open on a spare and punches 2. So that makes Kevin Fitzgerald par after 2 boxes with a 20.
And the last spare Kevin had in the last game, he got 2. He had the same type of a break. He only punched out on the other side of the hit pin. So, but I think he has to be feeling really good right now, considering that you know.
Well, he's the newcomer up there, and he ended up coming in with 122. That's got to make you feel good.
It only puts him 12 pins out of, you know, second place after the first game. So there he goes.
Hey,
there
nice
he
10.
goes.
Nice 10.
Deadwood coming across there, really working for him.
Another good example of what we talk about when we say the pins are sliding around, coming off the sideboards. The plates are a little slippery. It just makes for a lot more action and chances for better scores. Right back in the pocket.
He's been throwing a nice ball here today.
Well, that's a good 8-pin drop. The wood, I don't know. If you get out too far, you're going to take 1. Can't. I don't think. Well, he might get.
It almost looks like he has to hit.
I don't know if he get by it or not. Yes. Okay, he hit the nose of it. Yep. I wasn't sure whether he could get by that wood and split the 2. There was just a very little space there, and so after 4, Tony White 64 and bowling on a spare. Brian DEON 38, Randy Scovill 47, and Kevin Fitzgerald 40 and open with a spare. So Tony's got 4 in a row. That one got down off the right and gave him 4. So he's 68 on 4. And he went to the outside of that shot, as you could see there, and just left the 2-pin. And takes his 10 for 78. So he's 28 over par, and he had 134 his first game, so he's away to a good double. And you can see he doesn't take very much time between balls. He just gets up there, he grabs that ball, and he's ready to go. He knows what he wants to do with it, and usually does it.
Very seldom you see Tony pause a lot in between the balls. I think a lot of times as he's backing up, he's studying his shot before he even gets into position.
And another 10, which is 88 on 6. That's one of the things I was told, I don't even know by who, years ago, that don't turn your back to the pins. Something might happen down there that you didn't see.
Yeah.
A deadwood moved or whatever. So, hey, back up to the ball return, get your ball, and in the meantime, you're watching your pins, you're looking at your shot, checking your deadwoods. expect to see things fly here if he gets in the pocket.
Ryan eased off a little this game as opposed to what he was bowling in that first game.
Well, he hasn't got the marks that he had. I think he's throwing just as hard. Maybe that isn't what you meant, but I think he's still throwing hard. Just on this particular alley, he went by the headpin to the right twice. That's a good 8. That's a good 8. And he's 46 on 5. So that's halfway through the game. He hasn't had a mark. I think we've said it before. The first 5-0. Look out for the next 5.
Yes. Find that range again.
And it's hard to keep again. I mean, you go out there and you bowl 171. I mean, you're not going to do it again, probably. I mean, the law of averages say you're not. And it's hard to keep it going. When you do, you get a big match out of it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's hard to get that second game or third game, whatever it happens to be a decent game again. Oh, good shot.
Back into that pocket on the right-hand side again. That seems to be where his ball works the best for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a 10 for 56 on 6. Still really hasn't got anything to worry about. I'm sure he's concerned that he's not getting the ball where he wants to. Now, Randy's 47 on 4. Off to the right, but he's coming out of it with a good leave. The 1-2-7 with a wood in between the 2 and the 7, which will just push right back. He gets on the front pin, he should be in good shape.
I don't think that deadwood in the back will affect it any.
I don't think so. No, I think the one that's up the front deadwood should push right straight back anyway.
And that's just what it did.
Yeah. His ball is hard enough, and it was at a good angle that before the back deadwood did anything against him, that one had reacted favorably to him.
Randy, 57 in the 5th and open.
He's having trouble with the pocket. He gets 4 on his spare, which gives him 61 on 5. And a 6 for 67. And Kevin Fitzgerald, he's even par 40 and got a spare working for him. See if he can improve on his last 2 spares. He's had tough going the last 2. He's punched out 2 both times, so let's look for him to get in the pocket this time and get a load. Well, off to the side, but he got a good 7 out of it. So he's 47 on 4. We bounced that. Yes, yes.
That deadwood coming back off that side kick, just at the right angle to bring it right back forward to that head pin again.
Always hated ball against guys that did that.
It sure can make your have a tendency to ruin your day.
I like to do it, but didn't want them to do it.
Yeah.
And there's 7 more, and it gives him 64 on 5. That puts him right back up there.
After 5, it puts him, what, 14 down below Tony, so another mark would put him right in contention for this game, at least. Oh,
A little solid on the head pin,
Yeah.
just a little bit solid.
Another half-inch over that would.
To the left more, you
yeah.
can split them with no problem. You're so close to some of those shots that.
But it's nice to see these newcomers come up with relatively small years and experience and still stand up there and be competitive with the with people like Tony and Brian and Randy.
You like to see new fellas come along. Here's Tony White.
And what I'm seeing of Kevin here today, I'm sure that you're going to hear more of him if he keeps bowling the caliber of bowling that he's doing here today.
As he picks up the experience, he should get better.
Yeah.
And a 10 for Tony, which is 98 on 7. It's only about 5 pins difference in total between Tony and Brian.
Yes.
Right now, and Brian had a 37-pin lead.
Tony sure has been whittling away on that lead.
There's the triangle right in the middle of the alley, number 5, 8, and 9. And a 10 for 108 on 8. There's one of his better breaks this game.
Back into that pocket again.
Yeah.
He seems to... That one looked like he had found his range from the previous game. And he walks back smiling after dropping that one down on that right-hand side.
And 66 on 7. He's only dropped 4 pins on 7 boxes. An 8, a couple of 9s, but he hasn't had a mark yet.
Which is quite unusual.
So he's gone 8 boxes without a mark now, you know, after all those big marks he had that first game.
After having 5 in a row, he bowled 8 consecutive ones without a mark.
Yeah. Give that 10 pin a wiggle, but not enough to make it fall over. So now he's got to blast that deadwood.
And that's...
See what can happen to it.
Exactly what he'll do. Oh. There's times when you look at that and say, how did that ever do that?
And a 9 for 75. And there was something different. Usually a right-hand bowler will go after the left-hand corner pin because it's easier for him. Brian took the right-hand corner pin, so apparently that must be easier for him to pick that one off. Randy Scovill, 67 on 6. Exactly where he was in the first game. There you go.
And it just seems to that when Randy does hit them, he doesn't have the luck going with him.
He's leaving that extra pin. Well, he's got a piece of deadwood that's almost nose on. He might be a bit on the side of that. Nice shot. That's just what he wanted.
Excellent use of his deadwood there. As we wind down here today, we want to remind the viewers, Bruce, that this is the 3rd week and we still have 8 more weeks to come after this week here on Cable 5. Be sure to tune in every week to watch Championship Bowling from Brunswick Lanes, brought to you by Red Knight Enterprises and Subway.
Work it. There it goes. Got his extra pin that time. 7 on the spare, which is 84 on 7. Oh, gosh. And he got a bad piece of wood out front there. Well, it's so small a shot. I think he can still see the edge, inside edge of that front one. He might be able to get the ball in there. Even touching maybe the bare end of that wood, he might. But okay, apparently he couldn't see enough of the front pin to get the inside. But there's what things does to your game. You know, wood rolls out and it stays there. It doesn't roll back. 8 or 9 times out of 10, that wood would have rolled out somewhere. And
might mention to the viewers too. You mentioned, you know, the angle. We're looking at the angle from our monitor here, which is a fair amount left of where we are, which allowed us to see the end of that, where perhaps Randy standing on the alley couldn't see that.
See, they're bowling on alleys 5 and 6. We're sitting halfway between 7 and 8, so it gives us a little different look at it. The monitor, I guess, is, well, there to the side also a little bit too, so it doesn't give us the true angle. That's the excuse we'll use for calling the shots wrong.
It sounded good.
Kevin Fitzgerald goes through the middle, leaves 3 and 3. So his job now is to
pick up
pins on both sides.
Yep. Go for the 10. Clean 3 on one side with this ball. I have seen that type of a shot spared, but it's very hard.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That either the 2 or the 3 pin, you have to hit it in that pocket and real thin. And he puts another one
tough
in there.
So he's 7 over par after 7. He's got himself 77. Those things happen.
A lot of concentration this time on Kevin's part. Realizes that he's coming down to the end, and
well, that shakes you up a little bit.
Yeah.
You punch and then you fill a hole twice, and that's the last thing you want to do out in front of a whole lot of people.
is end up with a 4 alley. So yeah, you have to.
Shot.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yep.
Ball missed it, but the deadwood coming back off the side.
Split the 4 in a row real well, and the last pin kicked off the sideboards and come right across to take those other 2, so made a nice spare for him. Well, we're coming down to the last 2 here on game 2. Tony's 108 on 8. Pretty well in control of what he wants. It's an 8-pin break. An 8-pin break sounds good when you say it. Take a look at it.
Yep.
Number 8 and number 10.
Real hard shot to try and make.
Well, give the deadwood a crack.
Yep.
See if it'll come off the wall.
Take it for a ride.
Well, it went over there, but probably quite far behind.
Not quite far enough. That's right.
It was quite far behind the 10 pin. And has another 10. 118 on 9, so he's just 6 below his last game. So he's going to have a good 260 total. Get 4 in a row with the 8 pin in behind there. Right on it.
And another spare for Tony. That gives him 5 marks this game, so.
And he's got 128 plus, so a half a dozen. He'd be the same as he was the first game. He's in a hurry to bowl.
Yeah. and a big 9-pin break.
For 137. And a 2-game total of 271. So if Brian wants to beat him, he's got to have 100 or 101. 100 to tie.
So he needs a mark.
Yeah.
He needs a mark to beat him.
Not that it means any difference that if he beats Tony or not. As long as he's one of the 2 that advance, that's probably all he cares about.
That's right. And that's
they both work in the same place. They're good friends, and I'm sure Brian's out to get him right now. The same as Tony who said, I'll get you after this one.
Friends until they get the bowling ball in their hand.
Right on it.
And a spare for Brian. And that opens a door for him to not only get that 100, but take the lead back.
He needs 6 and 10. 6 on a mark and 10 on the alley. And 7 on it for 92. 272 has been our high triple so far. Tony just had a 271. I think way back in week 1, Jeff Baker had a 272. Let's try. So if he gets that pin, he'll have the high triple or high double of the first 3 weeks.
And he missed it.
101 and a total of 272. So we've had 3 bowlers in 3 weeks that have hit the 270 mark for their doubles. Tony with 271 and Brian DEON and Jeff Baker with a 272. So that's good bowling. Randy
Yes,
Scofield.
excellent bowling.
Randy's got 93 on 8. And a strike in the 9th. He's going to need a few of those.
Yeah.
Possible.
And another one. Well, Randy picks up a double strike, which gives him some bonus money, and sure is going to boost up his score at the end here.
We've had 3 double strikes this week.
Yes, yeah, and that's more than we had all last year, Bruce.
Yeah, we had 1. So 27. That's 120 on the 9th. You go for the spare, probably. 18. 138 for Randy. Nice game. And a total of 242. And that's just about Randy's average, 121.
Yes.
Of course, you get into a tournament or something like this, you expect to bowl more than your average. A league average, you're bowling there every day, every week, whatever. You get into a tournament, there's something special going. There's a little extra. And
the adrenaline flows a little
yeah,
more.
I think you should always think that you're going to bowl better than your average in a tournament. Kevin's got a spare open here in the 8th. And has 5 on it. Gives him 92 on 8.
I don't know, I've always heard the guys say, if I can bowl a little better than my average, and I figure I've held my end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kevin had 122 his first game, and he's just a little bit over par this game. So, even though he's not going to advance, I think probably this is his first venture into something like this. He's held himself up real well.
I was checking his average there. He has 107 average this year, so he's been, you know, well up on his average.
Well, he's going to be over 110.
Oh, that.
9 for 101. Yeah, he's going to have 230.
Yeah, and that's a nice.
That's 115
115.
average, so,
that gives you 8 above your average, and that's a nice day of bowling. I think Kevin, even though he's not going to advance, he's going to leave here.
He should be happy.
Being happy with it, you know, and for his first try and only 4 years of bowling, so.
He showed well.
Yes, yeah.
He done good, as they say. Huh?
And I think you'll see him back and trying for things like this again.
Well, it didn't scare him to come out for this time, you know.
That's right.
He wanted to try. He's a competitor, apparently, you know, and there he is right there. You can't win one of these things till you try.
That's right.
And an 8 for 109 and 231 total. So, week 3 results are as follows. Brian DEON with 171 and 101 for a total of 272. Tony White, 134 and 137 for 271. Those 2 bowlers will advance. Randy Scofield with 104 and 138 for a 242. And Kevin FITZGERALD with 122 and 109 for 231. So again, 4 4 good performances out there.
Excellent performances, Bruce. And not only that, we have Brian DEON picking up 3 bonus
Yep.
money today. We have Kevin picking up 1, Tony picking up 1, and Randy picking up 1. And we've, in all of last year and this year, this is the biggest payout we've ever had for bonus money. So, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the bowling here is been fantastic. We've just finished up week 3. It's more to come, another 8 weeks of it. Every week we'll be here bringing bowling to you from the Brunswick bowling lanes. It's being brought to you by Cable 5, and our sponsors are Red Knight Enterprises and Subway. So
Before you go,
tuned.
Cliff, let me
Yes.
say one thing. Maybe we should have been doing this every week, too, to alert the people who's going to bowl next week. And
Okay,
I've got
yeah.
the list right here. Next week, we'll be seeing Terry Spinney, Craig Landry, Barry Peterson, and Reg Fowler.
So another great match
Yeah.
shaping up there, Bruce.
Yep.
So be sure to tune in next week. We'll be back. I'm Cliff Gable. My co-host Bruce Hopkins will be back here next week, bringing you week 4 of championship bowling from Brunswick Lanes. Thank you. See you next week.
Brought to you in part by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste. Red Knight Enterprises, your entertainment and dining center. St. Jerome, chicken and ribs at a tasty price. And by Pepsi, Canada's beverage. Red Knight Enterprises, your entertainment and dining center. St.